was fully prepared this week to talk about the controversy over a proposal in Olympia having to do with police canines. House Bill 1054 would have prohibited the use of police dogs in apprehending suspects. Some in law enforcement were upset by that and argued that using a canine to make an arrest can mean the difference between life and death, not only for the officer, but at times for the suspects. So we were going to do a whole story on the divisive nature of this proposal, on some of the fringe comments floating around about it, until lawmakers in Olympia went ahead and found common ground without us.
We were frustrated, but they listened.
That is Republican State Representative Gina Mossbrecher, who was against the proposal. She says Democrats listened to concerns over the bill, actually took them to heart, and decided to go in a different direction. State Representative Jesse Johnson is the bill's sponsor.
I was grateful to learn from community members, from advocates, from families of police violence along the way, and also learn from law enforcement.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how a debate should work. Of course, it's a debate over dogs that brings people together. No surprise there. But more than that, here you have an example of two lawmakers who realize that their opinion isn't the only opinion that matters. They realize, in fact, that they might actually be able to learn something by listening to other people, that they might actually be able to come up with a better bill if they hear the other side out. For Representative Mossbrecher, that means acknowledging that policing isn't perfect, and maybe there are some changes that can make it better.
We have a lot of work to do to make sure we're using the least lethal and the officers are trained and that we have good officers.
For Representative Johnson, it means recognizing that he isn't doing his job unless he's doing it with all of his constituents in mind.
We have a saying in the Black community, lift every voice, and every voice has to be lifted up. And so that means even the voices you don't want to hear, you can't just stay in the echo chamber.
Now, that doesn't mean that lawmakers are always going to be willing to budge from their initial ideas. But the only way to know whether our ideas can be improved is if we stop talking long enough to actually listen.